As darkness fell upon the old Victorian house, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that settled deep within me. The creaking floorboards and whispering winds seemed to echo with a haunting presence. Reluctantly, I stepped over the threshold, unaware of the terrifying horrors that awaited me within. The house held a dark history, shrouded in mystery and tragedy. Legends spoke of a family who had met a grisly end within these very walls. Some claimed their tormented souls still lingered, trapped in eternal anguish. Despite warnings, curiosity drew me deeper into the heart of this chilling abode. From the outset, the atmosphere was suffocating, a heavy and foreboding presence that seemed to penetrate my very being. The air grew icy cold, and each breath I took felt like shards of ice piercing my lungs. Shadows danced upon the walls, their grotesque forms morphing and contorting with a sinister glee. In the dead of night, as I lay in bed, whispers echoed through the house. Whispers that crawled beneath my skin and filled me with dread. The floorboards groaned as if burdened by unseen footsteps. Scratching sounds arose from within the walls, as if something trapped was desperate to escape its confines. One evening, as I explored a forgotten attic, I stumbled upon a peculiar journal. Its pages were yellowed with age, the ink faded but legible. It chronicled the horrifying demise of the family that once called this house home, their descent into madness and the malevolent forces that consumed their lives. From that point on, the nightmares became a constant companion. Each night I found myself trapped within a labyrinth of shadowy corridors that twisted and turned, leading me deeper into the heart of darkness. Whispers grew louder, silhouettes took form, and ghastly apparitions reached out for me, their skeletal fingers grazing my skin. No matter how hard I tried, escape proved impossible. Doors slammed shut before my very eyes, locking me inside rooms filled with the echoes of anguished cries. Paintings on the walls morphed into grotesque visages, their eyes following my every move. The house reveled in its malevolence, taking pleasure in my mounting terror. My sanity hung by a thread as the days turned into an unending nightmare. Shadows grew bolder, crawling along the ceilings and floors, manifesting into tangible horrors. The veil between the living and the dead became increasingly thin, and the spirits of the house hungered for release, lashing out with a fury that threatened to consume me. In the final act of desperation, I found solace in an old tome hidden away in the decaying library. It spoke of a ritual, a last-ditch effort to banish the darkness that had plagued this cursed abode for centuries. With trembling hands, I followed its instructions, every word a prayer to deliverance. As the ritual reached its climax, the house trembled and convulsed, a tempest of ethereal energy surging through its crumbling walls. In one glorious burst of radiance, the spirits were released, their tortured souls finding peace at long last. The house fell silent, its oppressive grip on my soul finally lifted. Now, as I stand outside the old Victorian house, the sun casting its warm rays upon the once foreboding structure, I can still feel the echoes of its terror lingering within me. The horrors I witnessed will forever haunt my dreams. A reminder that some evils are not easily vanquished, but I emerged from the darkness, knowing I possess a strength I never knew I had. The story of the haunted house will forever be etched in my memory, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dare to confront the depths of fear. But as for me, I walk away, forever changed, grateful for my escape, but forever marked by the horrors that unfolded within those walls. Ever since I can remember, the Victorian house at the end of the street has always intrigued me. Nestled among the tall, overgrown trees, its faded paint and cracked windows told stories of a time long forgotten. Legends spread throughout the neighborhood about the horrors that lay within its walls, and I found myself drawn to the mystery that surrounded it. Little did I know, my curiosity would soon lead me down a path of terror and haunting. One dreary afternoon, with raindrops tapping at my window, I couldn't resist the pull of the house any longer. Armed with just a flashlight and a camera, I made my way towards the abandoned Victorian. As I stepped onto the porch, the wind howled through the cracks, causing the front door to creak open, as if welcoming me inside. I hesitated for a moment before venturing in, the anticipation mixed with fear sending shivers down my spine. The inside was a time capsule, frozen in an era that only existed in novels and dreams. Dust-covered furniture lined the hallways and cobwebs hung from the ceiling like eerie chandeliers, casting intricate shadows on the walls. As I made my way further into the house, the air grew colder, the feeling of being watched intensifying with each step. The creaking of the floorboards echoed through the empty rooms, as if the house itself was breathing, alive with secrets. Determined to uncover the truth behind the legends, I descended into the basement. The darkness down there was suffocating. The only light coming from the beam of my flashlight. The air was stale, heavy with the scent of decay. Just as I was about to turn back, a faint sound broke the silence. It was a soft whisper, barely audible, but unmistakably human. "Help me." The voice echoed through the darkness, surrounding me from all sides. My heart raced and a chill ran down my spine. I followed the sound, leading me to a hidden chamber tucked away in the depths of the basement. The door was barely visible, covered in layers of dust and grime. I pushed it open, revealing a room frozen in time. The chamber was filled with the haunting presence of forgotten souls, their faces etched in portraits that covered the walls. Their eyes seemed to follow my every move, pleading for release from their eternal prison. I stumbled upon an old diary, its pages yellowed and brittle. As I flipped through the delicate pages, the horrors of the Victorian house's past began to unfold. It told a tale of a wealthy family who had once called this house their home. The patriarch, a man consumed by greed, had turned to dark magic in search of eternal life and bound the souls of his loved ones to the walls of the house. The trapped spirits had whispered their plea for freedom for decades, their cries falling on deaf ears. To end their suffering, I embarked on a mission to break the curse and set the souls free. With each passing day, the house revealed more of its secrets. I discovered hidden passageways that led me through a maze of darkness, where whispers turned into screams. The nights in the house were the worst. Demonic spirits roamed the hallways, their blood-curdling laughter haunting my dreams. Shadows danced on the walls, morphing into grotesque figures that watched my every move. It felt as if the walls were closing in on me, suffocating me with their dark secrets. One stormy night, as lightning illuminated the house, I unraveled the final piece of the puzzle. The ritual to break the curse required the blood of the cursed family, the very blood running through my veins. With trembling hands and a heavy heart, I pricked my finger and allowed a single drop to fall onto the ancient sigil. The house rumbled and shook, as if protesting against its impending freedom. The cries of the trapped souls filled the air, mingling with the thunder outside. Then, in an instant, the house fell silent. The tension hanging in the air dissipated, replaced by a sense of tranquility. As I stepped out of the haunted Victorian house, the sun began to rise, chasing away the darkness that had consumed my life for so long. The legends and horrors that plagued the neighborhood had finally been put to rest. I could feel a weight lifted from my shoulders, the burden of the past fading into nothingness. Yet as I walked away, my heart remained heavy with the knowledge that the horrors of the Victorian house would forever haunt my memories. The cries of those trapped souls would forever echo in the depths of my mind. And I swore as I left that house behind that I would never allow my curiosity to lead me down a path of terror again.